Purpose over pleasure. That's where life truly begins. See, many people wake up every morning chasing the next thrill, the next like, the next dollar, the next distraction. They're running so fast, but they're not going anywhere. Because when your life has no purpose, every win feels empty. You can achieve everything the world praises and still feel like something is missing. That's because you were never meant to find fulfillment in pleasure alone. Pleasure fades, purpose lasts. Pleasure satisfies for a moment, purpose satisfies for a lifetime. Pleasure makes you feel good, purpose makes you do good. And when you live with purpose, your soul finally finds rest. You were created intentionally. God didn't just make you and toss you into the world, hoping you'd figure it out. He designed you with a reason in mind. Every heartbeat, every breath, every opportunity is tied to that reason. And when you ignore that divine purpose, something inside you begins to wither. That's why so many people who seem to have it all still feel like they have nothing. Because the truth is, if you're not walking in what God designed you for, you're only existing, not living. The world tells you, do what makes you happy. But God tells you, do what makes you holy. The difference is everything. Happiness can come from what you have, but holiness comes from who you are becoming. The pursuit of pleasure is a treadmill that never stops. You run and run, but you end up in the same place, tired, drained, and still unsatisfied. Purpose, on the other hand, gives every step meaning. It gives your pain a reason, your struggles a lesson, and your blessings a responsibility. Purpose transforms ordinary days into divine assignments. You see, pleasure is self-centered. It's about me. Purpose is God-centered. It's about Him. And when you shift that focus, your life changes from chasing moments to creating impact. When you live for pleasure, you take from the world. When you live with purpose, you give to it. That's what real success looks like. Not the car, not the house, not the applause, but the peace that comes from knowing you're right where God wants you to be. There's no feeling like waking up and knowing you're living for something that outlives you. Pleasure asks, how can I feel good right now? Purpose asks, how can I make a difference today? Pleasure ends when the party's over. Purpose begins when you start serving others. Pleasure is about escape. Purpose is about engagement. You can spend your whole life avoiding pain, or you can use your pain to help someone else find healing. That's the power of living on purpose. You stop seeing life as a series of random events and start seeing it as a divine story that God is writing through you. The Bible says in Proverbs, there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death. That's what happens when pleasure becomes the goal. It feels right, it looks fun, it feels good, but it leaves you empty. The enemy doesn't have to destroy you to defeat you. He just has to distract you. He'll fill your life with shiny things, easy things, temporary things, until you forget the eternal thing, your purpose. That's why you must stay awake, stay focused, stay aligned, because purpose isn't always glamorous. Sometimes purpose is showing up when nobody claps for you. Sometimes purpose is forgiving when you'd rather fight. Sometimes purpose is doing the right thing when it costs you everything. But that's how you build a life that matters. When you live for purpose, you'll face moments of doubt, criticism, and struggle. But you'll also discover strength, peace, and joy the world can't take away, because purpose gives you clarity when the world gives you confusion. Purpose gives you stability when the storm comes. And make no mistake, the storm will come. But if your life is anchored in God's purpose, the wind may shake you, but it won't break you. Pleasure fades the moment pressure arrives. Purpose stands firm through every test. You were not created to be comfortable. You were created to be called. God didn't place you here just to survive. He placed you here to serve. Your purpose is not about building your name, but about glorifying His. Every gift you have, every talent, every bit of influence, they're not accidents. They're assignments. And when you use them for yourself, they die with you. But when you use them for others, they outlive you. Purpose doesn't just make life meaningful, it makes life eternal. Look at the heroes of faith. Moses, David, Esther, Paul. None of them lived for pleasure. They lived for purpose. They endured hardship, rejection, and loss, but their obedience changed history. And that's what happens when you say yes to God's purpose. He takes your ordinary life and does something extraordinary with it. You don't have to be rich, famous, or perfect. You just have to be available. God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. The greatest tragedy isn't dying young or living poor. It's living long and dying empty. It's standing before God one day and realizing you never did what He created you to do. That's the real waste of life. Don't chase what fades. Don't sacrifice eternity for entertainment. Don't let comfort become your cage. Because when you live for pleasure, your joy depends on circumstance. But when you live for purpose, your joy depends on Christ. And that's unshakable. Every morning you wake up, you have two choices: to exist or to live. Existing means drifting. Living means deciding. Existing means reacting. Living means responding to God's call. You can't control how long you live, but you can control how well you live. And a well-lived life is one spent fulfilling the reason you were made. That's where peace lives. That's where joy breathes. That's where fulfillment begins. So today, ask yourself, what am I living for? Am I chasing moments or meaning? Am I pursuing comfort or calling? Because when you trade your purpose for pleasure, you settle for less than you were meant to be. But when you walk in purpose, even your pain has power. Even your waiting has worth. And even your failures become fertilizer for your faith. Don't waste your life on what fades. Invest it in what lasts, God's purpose for you. Because in the end, it's not the pleasures you've tasted that will define you. It's the purpose you've lived that will echo through eternity. Time is God's currency, and every second is a deposit from heaven. You don't own it, you borrow it. The clock doesn't stop for anyone, and once those minutes are gone, they're gone forever. You can make more money, you can rebuild your reputation, you can recover from mistakes, but you can never recover wasted time. That's why the enemy doesn't always try to destroy your life. Sometimes, he just tries to distract you long enough for you to waste it. He doesn't need to take everything from you. He just needs to keep you busy doing nothing that matters. Every time you trade your divine assignment for meaningless noise, you're spending eternity's currency on temporary pleasure. We wake up every day thinking we have time. We say, I'll start tomorrow. I'll pray tomorrow. I'll forgive later. I'll serve when I have more time. But what if tomorrow never comes? What if this was the day heaven expected you to act, but you delayed? Every moment of delay is a moment of disobedience. The Bible says, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Why? Because when you realize your days are numbered, you start using them wisely. You stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. You stop entertaining people who drain you. You stop pursuing goals that don't align with God's purpose. You start realizing that every breath is a gift, not a guarantee. The world tells you that time is money. But no, time is life, and how you spend it determines your legacy. Every choice you make is a withdrawal from your life account. Some people spend their time chasing validation, scrolling endlessly, talking about what they'll do one day. But one day never arrives. They die with dreams still trapped inside them because they never valued the time they were given. They thought they had plenty of it. But the truth is, every tick of the clock is whispering, closer, closer to eternity, closer to your last chance, closer to standing before the one who gave you this time in the first place. Time is sacred. It's not just hours and minutes, it's purpose and potential. You were given this day for a reason. The question is, what are you doing with it? Some people wait for motivation, but motivation fades. Discipline is what redeems time. Every time you choose focus over distraction, growth over comfort, faith over fear, you multiply the value of your time. You turn ordinary hours into eternal impact. God blesses the hands that move, not the ones that wait for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for the right time. The right time is now. The enemy loves procrastination because it feels harmless, but it's deadly. Every "I'll do it later" steals from your destiny. Think about how easy it is to waste a day. Hours can vanish into trivial arguments, endless entertainment, or aimless routines. And at night, we look back wondering where it went. But life isn't a rehearsal. It's the only showing you get. Every sunrise is God's reminder that you still have an assignment. You're still here for a reason. And if you woke up today, it means there's still something God expects you to finish. Time is your opportunity to say yes to that calling before the curtain falls. Don't let comfort convince you that you have forever. You don't. Even Jesus said, "We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day." Night is coming when no one can work. The night is coming when opportunities are gone, when choices end, when time runs out. What will you have to show for the days you were given? There's a difference between being busy and being fruitful. The world celebrates business, the packed schedules, the hustle, the constant noise. But God celebrates fruitfulness, what your business produces. You can be busy your whole life and accomplish nothing that matters to heaven. Productivity without purpose is just motion without meaning. Every moment you give to gossip, negativity, fear, or regret is a moment stolen from your purpose. Don't just fill your time, fulfill it. Make sure what you do today echoes in eternity. Because one day when you stand before God, He won't ask how many followers you had, how successful you looked, or how much you earned. He'll ask what you did with the time He gave you. The truth is, time is not promised. Death doesn't make appointments, it arrives unannounced. So live ready, love deeply, forgive quickly, serve freely. Don't hold grudges, they waste precious hours. Don't compare yourself, it steals your focus. Don't fear failure, it wastes your potential. You are running out of time to be who you were meant to be. But it's not too late to start right now. The devil can't stop God's plan for your life, but he can make you waste so much time that you never see it through. Don't let that happen. Protect your time like it's your most valuable possession, because it is. Time is also how God tests your faith. What you do with small moments determines how He trusts you with bigger ones. David was faithful watching sheep before he ever faced Goliath. Joseph stayed faithful in prison before stepping into the palace. Jesus spent 30 years in preparation for 3 years of ministry. Every moment mattered. They didn't waste time waiting for greatness. They grew in the time they had. God is watching how you spend your waiting. If you waste time complaining, you delay your calling. But if you use that time to grow, to learn, to pray, to serve, He will promote you in His timing. Your time is not just for your dreams. It's for God's glory. Every minute is an opportunity to make His name known. Maybe that means calling someone who's hurting. Maybe it means helping someone in need. Maybe it means forgiving someone who wronged you. Maybe it means using your gifts to build something that brings others closer to Him. Whatever it is, don't delay. The greatest mistake is thinking you have more time than you do. You don't have time to waste on bitterness. You don't have time to live without purpose. You don't have time to chase approval. You have time to fulfill your assignment. And that's all. The enemy fears a believer who values time, because that believer becomes unstoppable. When you treat time like treasure, you stop living randomly and start living intentionally. You start choosing purpose over popularity, prayer over panic, peace over pressure. You stop being controlled by the clock and start being guided by calling. You begin to understand that every sunrise is a new beginning, and every sunset is a reminder that one more day is gone. What will you have to show for it? Did you grow? Did you love? Did you serve? Did you glorify God with the hours you were given? So stop wasting your time trying to be liked. Stop wasting your time waiting for perfect conditions. Stop wasting your time replaying the past. You can't change what's behind you, but you can control what's in front of you. Start now. Start small, but start. Because when you use your time wisely, heaven takes notice. When you redeem your time, you align yourself with God's rhythm. And when you walk in His rhythm, your days stop feeling empty. They start feeling eternal. The seconds you give to God never go to waste. They become seeds that grow into impact, legacy, and destiny. So live today like it's your last, because one day it will be. Spend your time like it belongs to God, because it does. And remember, wasting time isn't just losing hours, it's losing opportunity. You've been given the most precious resource in existence, the breath of now. Don't waste it looking back. Don't waste it standing still. Move forward with purpose, urgency, and faith, because time is God's currency, and the greatest way to honor Him is to spend it well. Legacy over longevity. That's where true greatness lies. Too many people spend their lives trying to live long instead of living well. They worry about how many years they'll have, how long they'll last, how much time they can hold on to, but not enough about what they'll leave behind when the time runs out. Life is not about the number of days you breathe, it's about the number of lives you breathe purpose into. It's not how long you walk this earth, but how deeply your footsteps touch it. You can live 80 years and leave nothing that matters, or you can live 30 and change eternity. Jesus lived only 33 years, yet his legacy transformed the world. That's what happens when you live with divine purpose instead of human ambition. Legacy begins with values, not valuables. The things you buy will fade, but the truth you live will remain. People may forget your name, but they'll never forget how you made them feel, how you loved them, how you reflected God through your words and actions. Legacy is not about leaving behind wealth, it's about leaving behind wisdom. It's not about your image on earth, it's about your imprint on heaven. When your life becomes a vessel for God's purpose, your influence multiplies beyond your years. You may never see all the fruit of your labor, but your obedience will plant seeds that outlive you. The hand that sows in faith today will still feed generations tomorrow. Some people chase longevity because they're afraid of dying, but when you live with purpose, death doesn't scare you. Wasting life does. When you walk with God, you understand that every day is a chapter, and eternity is the story. You don't fear the end when you know who holds it. The question isn't, how long will I live? But what will my life mean? If all you leave behind is possessions, then all you've built is a museum. But if you leave behind love, faith, courage, and truth, then you've built a movement. The Bible says, the memory of the righteous is blessed. That means when you live right, even your memory carries power. Even after you're gone, your example continues to speak, inspire, and transform. Think about the people who changed the world. Not just the famous ones, but the faithful ones. The mothers who prayed, the teachers who believed in a child, the friends who forgave, the servants who gave without expecting anything back. They may never make headlines, but heaven knows their names. That's legacy. It's not about being known by millions. It's about being remembered by God. It's not about building empires, it's about building people. Legacy is what happens when your life becomes a mirror reflecting God's grace long after you're gone. When you live for legacy, you understand that success is not measured by applause but by impact. You stop asking, how can I make a name for myself? And start asking, how can I make a difference for others? Longevity without legacy is just existence extended. But legacy turns your life into an echo of eternity. Even when your voice is gone, your message remains. When you live in alignment with God's will, every act of kindness, every word of truth, every moment of courage becomes part of a chain reaction of goodness that never ends. You might never see its full reach, but heaven does. The prayer you whisper today might save someone's soul tomorrow. The forgiveness you give might heal a family line. The generosity you show might lift a stranger out of despair. Legacy isn't built in moments of glory, it's built in moments of obedience. And make no mistake, building a legacy takes sacrifice. It's not easy. The path of purpose often means doing what's right instead of what's popular. It means walking away from comfort so you can walk toward calling. It means saying no to selfishness and yes to service. But that's what makes legacy powerful. It's born from choices that cost something. Anyone can live long, few choose to live meaningful. The easy road leads to mediocrity, but the narrow road leads to eternal impact. You can't take your possessions with you, but you can leave your principles behind. You can't carry your wealth to heaven, but you can send your works ahead of you. Everything you do in love becomes a seed in God's eternal garden. Your legacy begins now, not later. It's in how you treat people, how you forgive those who hurt you, how you stay faithful when life breaks your heart, how you serve when no one thanks you. Every choice adds a brick to the house your memory will live in. Legacy isn't built by grand gestures, but by consistent faithfulness. Every day you live in obedience to God, you write another page in the story of your legacy. People may never say your name in history books, but if your life leads even one soul closer to Christ, then you've done more than enough. Heaven measures success differently than the world. The world counts trophies, heaven counts testimonies. There's a powerful truth. Your legacy is not just what you leave behind, but who you leave behind. The faith you pass to your children, the courage you model to your friends, the love you show to strangers, those are the things that continue long after you're gone. That's why living for legacy demands vision. You have to look beyond yourself. You have to think about the next generation, the people who will walk the paths you've paved. Don't live so small that your dreams die with you. Live so big in faith that your legacy becomes a light for others to follow. God never promised you a long life, but He promises you an eternal one. Longevity is a blessing, but it's not the goal. The goal is to live in such a way that when your time comes, you can stand before God and hear Him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That's the legacy worth living for. It's not about statues, awards, or fame. It's about soul's purpose and impact. It's about hearing stories years from now of people who were inspired because you chose to live righteously. That's what makes a life worthwhile. That's what makes your time on earth echo in heaven. So ask yourself, what will my legacy be? What will people remember about me when I'm gone? Did I love well? Did I give more than I took? Did I point others to God or only to myself? Because in the end, your legacy is the only thing death can't steal. The body will fade, the possessions will scatter, but the life lived in truth will shine forever. Live for something bigger than survival. Live for significance. Live to leave a mark that honors God. Because one day, the world will forget the years you lived, but eternity will remember the way you lived them. And when that day comes, may your legacy not just be written in stone, but engraved in souls. My friends, life is not about how long we live, but how deeply we live. It's not about how many days we survive, but how much light we shine. Don't waste your life chasing what fades. Don't trade your calling for comfort or your purpose for pleasure. Every second you're alive is a gift, God's personal reminder that He's not done with you yet. So rise up every morning with intention, live your faith boldly, love others fiercely, serve humbly, forgive quickly, and walk each day knowing that time is short, but eternity is long. Leave behind a legacy that speaks long after you're gone, a legacy of faith, courage, and obedience. When your journey ends and your story is told, let heaven recognize your life as one that mattered. Let your days echo with purpose, and your name be remembered not for what you owned, but for how you lived. Because at the end of it all, the greatest tragedy isn't dying. It's dying without ever having truly lived. So don't waste your life. Live it with meaning, passion, and faith. Thank you all for listening with your hearts tonight. I pray that these words remind you that your time, your purpose, and your legacy are divine gifts. May you walk out of here determined to live every day intentionally, with gratitude, courage, and faith in the one who gave you life. Remember, the world doesn't need another person just existing. It needs you fully alive, walking in God's purpose. Thank you, and God bless you all.